to Rutland back in December. That was a super, super, super cold flight going up there because the heat wasn't working in the airplane. But they had a pretty good diner. The food was all right there. I don't know that I wouldn't be rushing to go back to Rutland for the food, rather for the sceneries. What are your personal thoughts on the FSLabs A320 malware? All right, so here's this discussion. So first of all, I got an IM earlier this week from another member of our lovely community here, whom I won't name, basically just saying, like, heads up, like, have you seen the news? And I said, no, I haven't seen the news. What's going on? And he says, he explains, like, here's a rundown of what's going on. So I started digging through things, and if you don't know, what's happened is that FSLabs, there was a post on Reddit where FSLabs was being questioned or being caught essentially distributing a malware within their installer application, and this program text.exe is a known malware that extracts Chrome usernames and passwords and drops them in a file. So what ends up happening is that if you use a known pirated key, this program runs and then sends all of the information, unencrypted, by the way, to a server in Germany that has an open remote desktop port. Like, no Boston controls on the schedule. It's too bad. Good to see you, Rick, by the way. Happy Friday. So this sends all this data via an unencrypted connection to a machine that's on the internet that has an open remote desktop port. So you have several layers of sort of WTF here. I'm not going to start with the very first obvious one. Flapped up, gear up. Good to see you, man. Welcome aboard. Anybody else I missed? I think we got them all. Oh yeah, seatbelt signs off. Turn that off. Turn that off. So I'm going to start from the back. Okay. Having an open machine on the internet with the remote desktop port open in itself can potentially be a pretty good security risk, right? Because that gives somebody an open invitation to come in and start banging away on your PC to see if they can log into it. On this machine, you are now storing personal information, like usernames and passwords from Chrome, your Google account username and password, things like that. So you have this machine that has questionable security measures in front of it. If you're opening a port up like that to the internet, you probably are not very familiar with how to actually lock down and secure a machine. So there's also that. You're storing personal information on this machine that includes usernames and passwords for potentially your email, your Facebook, your bank accounts, and who knows what else. And you're doing this in Europe. Europe being notable for being a continent or an area that has some of the most consumer-friendly laws when it comes to personal information. If you've not worked in the credit card industry or you've not worked in any industry that deals with personal information, let it be known that Europe is a pain in the ass for many reasons. Go look it up if you're curious why. So there's that. You're sending information to this machine using an unencrypted connection. So if I didn't get the machine, I could potentially man in the middle and just grab the packets out of the air and say, all right, oh, I got that data. And if I recognize how it was encoded, which is not hard to do, I could take that information and I could say, all right, I got all your data. Great. I now have usernames and passwords. All right. That's a problem. Okay. It gets worse, though. Take another step back. In your installer file, you are bundling a piece of malware. Okay? Every single person that installs this application runs or has this malware on their machine. The malware is part of the installer package. It extracts, it runs if it thinks it needs to, or it doesn't run and deletes if it thinks it doesn't. But at some point, anybody who has installed FSLabs in P3D version 4 has had this malware on their machine. Now, that creates a target, like a vector. It creates a vector of attack from anybody who is familiar with the fact that, hey, there's this thing out there called the FSLabs A320, and oh, there's enough people using it. Maybe if I recognize that thing is running, I can find maybe I can find a copy of that installer file, and I can find a way to extract it, and I could take that test.exe that's already on the person's machine, and I could do stuff with it, like run it and take the data. This is care of Frugal Pete, by the way. Some of these assumptions, and this next one is definitely one that I got from Frugal. I want to give him credit. When an installer runs, it extracts a whole bunch of data to a temporary folder, and it's possible that data could not get. Maybe that data wasn't deleted. What if the installer was aborted early? So now you could potentially have this test.exe file sitting on your machine, waiting to be run. They didn't run. FSLabs didn't run it because you're a legitimate user. You have nothing to worry about. But your black hat hacker over here that recognizes that you have this thing could say, I know what I can do. That's a problem. Okay. That is a humongous security problem. Humongous implication there in terms of security. And if you don't understand why that's a huge problem, like, go back to the VOD and listen to what I just explained. Okay, you have no control over this happening. So, a forum post is made that says, your installer application is triggering my antivirus. What's going on? And the suggestion was, well, you should turn off your antivirus when you install our application. So they're telling you that you should disable the thing that keeps your computer safe because we are incapable of making an installer or making a program that doesn't trigger it. That's a problem. That's a huge problem, by the way. You should never, ever, 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 ever turn your virus application off when you are giving a program full control of your PC, which when Windows UAC comes up and says yes or no, you hit yes, they have full control of your PC. Do not ever turn your virus protection off for something like that. If a developer says you should turn the virus protection off, you give them the finger and you say, I want a refund. Because that's complete BS. And I'm super serious, like, passion. I will sit here, I will go to the grave saying that. You should never, ever use that as an excuse. So that happened. All right. So all these implications, all these accusations and whatnot are out there, and the so people are going to the forums just saying, okay, what's going on? And normally in PR, you would expect somebody to say, oh, that doesn't sound right. We're looking into it. No. The CEO of this company comes back and says, yeah, that's part of the DRM that we've implemented. And if you're a legitimate customer, you have nothing to worry about. But think back to the things that I just said 2 or 3 minutes ago about the things that you actually should be worrying about, even if you are a legitimate customer, right? That's a very short-sighted way of thinking and a very short-sighted way of approaching a problem. And it's incredibly reckless of a person to do something like that. So, not only are you telling your customers to disable their security, you are knowingly putting a piece of compromised software on their machine, and you are attempting to steal personal information from somebody that may or may not actually be pirating your application. You shouldn't be doing any of that. You should not be doing any of that. You should not be doing any of that no matter the circumstances. I don't care if the pirate's legit. I don't care anything that you're saying. You should not be doing that. There's no reason to. There's no excuse. There's no apology. Nothing. You shouldn't be doing it. So that's what's happened. So that's the situation. Since then, they have stated, we found the information that we're looking for. We're using it to build a case against a guy, which, by the way, is going to get thrown out immediately anywhere in the court of law. And oh yeah, here's a new installer file. We've removed all that stuff. But don't worry, we're still your friend. However, if we're not your friend, we'll give you a refund. But everybody I've talked to that requested a refund has not gotten their refund. Everybody I've spoken to that has asked for a refund, they've said, no, we sold you the prepared version 3 version of the FSLabs A320, which didn't have our malicious intent DRM application in it, and we gave the version 4 update to you as a courtesy. And because of that, we're not going to give you a refund. So they've made a public-facing statement that says, we're very sorry, we're incredibly sorry, we're going to make this right by offering refunds, but then behind closed doors, they're not giving you shit. Okay? Everybody I've talked to, I've not talked to, so there's one person that's gotten a refund. It's one person that says they've gotten a refund that I've seen, right? You should not trust Flight Sim Labs. I'm going to stand here and I'm not talking to you as an X-Plane user. I'm not talking to you as somebody flying the Flight Factor A320, making jokes about test. None of that. You should not trust that company. That man, that CEO, has a history of doing crap like this, and you can bet that when FSLabs is dead, because that company is gone, guaranteed in the next 6 to 12 months after this scandal, it was picked up by every major tech blog out there. Like, somebody is going to say, some lawyer is going to sit back and say, you know what? I bet I can make a few bucks off this. So when Lefteris goes to a new company and tries to pull this same crap again, you better not buy from him because he'll do it again. You know, you can bet that when the Concord version 3 comes out for prepared version 4, which they've announced, that he's going to pull this exact same crap because he has done it before and he'll just keep doing it again. So the crux of the whole thing, I've told you the story. I've told you sort of where I stand on all this stuff. I do not trust that company at all. I feel bad because I've read that some of the developers were unaware of some of the stuff that was going on, and that is most unfortunate, but that man has a history of doing stuff like that, and you need to do your research. You need to do your research before you go work anywhere, and understand that if they've pulled crap like that in the past, there's a good chance they'll do it again. The unfortunate thing beyond that is that the product is amazing. It's the best A320 simulation. It's better than this thing, okay? It's the best A320 simulation out there. It might be one of the best simulated products anywhere in flight sim. And the fact that they have just completely tarnished their name, their product, and everything, by doing this just absurd act of complete illegal stupidity. I've been sitting here the whole week talking to people like, I don't understand. I don't understand how you come to the conclusion that this is a good idea. I don't get it. So that's it. That's the story. That's my opinion. That's where I'm at on it. I don't usually like to sit here and rant and kind of talk about the super negative stuff like that, but I feel super strongly about the fact that you shouldn't be compromising your users' machines. You shouldn't inherently distrust anybody who is running your product, and most importantly, you shouldn't be implementing DRM that does this kind of stuff. Like, your DRM should be there to I have a lot of problems with DRM, but your DRM should first and foremost not be trying to steal and compromise and whatnot your users. So that's it. That's what I have. So that's a very long rant. I apologize. Thank you all for sticking around and listening to it. That's sort of off the hook, my thoughts and feelings and whatnot. And it sucks. Like, it really, really sucks. It sucks for the people that bought the products, that like the products, that work on the products. It sucks for everybody else in Prepared, because every other developer is going to have to go through this whole spiel now. Every developer in Prepared, especially where the installer files are a thing, every developer in X-Plane is going to have to go through this scrutiny. Like, this is there's nothing about this that comes out as a positive. And anybody who is trying to spin this in a positive direction is an idiot. Piracy is not the problem. You know, piracy is going to happen. The pirates always win. Always win. The pirates will always win. I don't care how hard you try, they will always win. If you know the words FCKGWRHQQ2 and you know how to finish the rest of that, you know that the pirates will always win. So to do stuff like that, like you need to lock your stuff down better and find a way to serve your customers better. Maybe not charge $140 for your damn product. Like, you're pricing yourself out of the market, and there's no reason that's why people are going to pirate it. Somebody who's pirating it is not a lost sale. They are pirating it because they either like the challenge, they want to piss you off, or they can't afford it. And they probably can't afford it in most of these cases, because $140 is a lot of money, especially when you think about the number of people in the developing world that are using our simulators. Like, $90 for this thing, I would even say, is a lot of money, right? Blue Lives Matter 5. Thank you very much for the subscription, man. Cheers to you and welcome to Beer of the Month Club. And this URL not found is given a subscription over to Microsoft Gamer XD. Microsoft Gamer XD, welcome to the Beer of the Month Club, and thank you. This URL not found. Cheers. Mur8771, good to see you. Preach it, man, preach it. Yeah, I don't get to do these rants. I do not do these rants very often. So, I genuinely try to avoid these kinds of topics, but this one I think is just, I'm so passionate about it. I think it's so important that we talk about it, and that people at least understand a perspective from somebody who, I would like to think that I can sit here and speak to a lot of things. I've worked in the tech industry for over 10 years. I have a lot of experience in software. I have a lot of experience in, handling payment systems and secure systems and things like that. I'd like to think that I'm at least somewhat qualified to have this conversation with you. So if you think I'm full of crap, then that's totally fine. If you want to plaster this all over Reddit or anywhere else and you think I'm full of crap, that's fine. I don't care. I'm self-centered enough to know that I'm right and you're wrong. The real MG867, thank you very much for the bits, man. Cheers. Appreciate it. Can Lefteris go to prison? I don't think it's going to come to that. I don't think he's big enough for that to happen. Like, my gut feeling is that the Flight Sim Labs probably gets chewed apart by the EU if it goes that far. Like, I have no idea what's going to come out of this. My personal opinion is that company should not be in business anymore. But I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a law person. You know, it is what it is. Danish, good to see you, man. What have you heard about the Tolus A319? Absolutely nothing. Haven't heard anything for a while. This you are not found. Thank you very much for gifting the sub to Flaps Up Gear Up. Flaps Up Gear Up, welcome to the Beer of the Month Club. Thank you, this you are not found, for the other sub, man. Cheers. Euphoric Rager, thank you very much for the bits, man. Cheers to you as well. Jeffrey Valentine, thank you for the bits. Cheers to you, buddy. He says wise words. I'm glad. I'm actually glad that you guys are sticking around and you know, that we're having a good conversation out of this. The conversation is mostly me speaking. You know, but yeah, I'm all like freaking amped up now, man. I want to go beat a punching bag or something. These topics get me, man. Like this is like right up my wheelhouse of things that just irk me to no end. The Rolling Stones even did an article. Oh, I didn't know that. That's crazy. N90 Flyer, welcome to the Beer of the Month Club. This you will not found. Thank you very much for gifting a subscription to N90 Flyer. Cheers to you. Welcome aboard. It's good to see you, buddy. What have I heard about the Ultimate 737? You know what? A lot of people have talked about the Ultimate 737, and I don't really know anything about it. My understanding is that it's a graphical and sound update, I think, for the default 737 that is building on some of the things that maybe Zebo isn't doing. But I honestly have no idea what's going on with that add-on, or even what it is. When there's something out and there's something to look at, then I'll take a peek at it. But I haven't dug into it too much beyond that. Serious Gamer, good to see you, man. I refunded my FSLabs. They're probably gonna get so many refunds. Well, if they're gonna give them out, man, like they have it, like a lot of people they're denying refunds to. Lefteris developers will always be known for working for that guy and following them. Yeah, and it's unfortunate. You know, if they entered into that contract in a naive fashion, then it's unfortunate for them because they didn't know better. But at the same time, for everybody else, it needs to be a learning lesson. You have to before you accept money from anybody, before you enter a contract with anybody, you have to know what you're getting yourself into. You have to do your research. And in a small company like that, you got to look the guy who's in charge up. I work for a very, very small company. There's 12 people in my office, and you bet your ass that I spent a significant amount of time looking the owner of that company up on all means I could find, because I wanted to make sure that he was a reputable person. Mur8771, welcome to the Beer of the Month Club. Thank you very much for your support. Cheers. Do appreciate it. 737 Ultimate adds the 700 and the 900 ER variants, internal cabin, scimitar winglets, and a HUD. Oh, nice, dude. Consumer rights laws in the UK that would not stand for this. Oh yeah, it's in the EU as well. I mean, that's what I was saying at the beginning of my rant, that the EU has extraordinarily strict and consumer-friendly laws when it comes to handling personal data, and you simply can't do what they wanted to do, or what they did. Like, you're not supposed to do that. Anish Janice, thank you very much for the tip, man. Sorry to get you back on an Airbus flight simulation. What have you heard about the Tolus A319, and how does it stand against the Flight Factor A320? I really haven't heard anything about it, to be honest. I've seen some videos that have been put out there, and it looks